Good morning, afternoon, or evening, and welcome to another 0AD Alpha 26 replay commentary analysis. Today, we'll be looking at Nomad games. They're one of my favourite ways to play, while at the same time, they only seem to make up a tiny proportion of the games available. So they require a slightly different skill set to regular games, and in my opinion, they reward more strategic play ahead of the otherwise dominant micro-unit management tactics. Now, don't get me wrong, those still play a part, but they're slightly less important, and that can make it a great leveler. So today's game features me alongside I'm going to call Yuxiwu against Riccio and Leopard. It's a random land map and the first 7 minutes are ceasefire to ensure that the game isn't over before it starts. So let's get into it. And so we're in the game. So if we look at where everyone's spawned, we've got Riccio in the middle. We've got his teammate Leopard in the south. So Leopard has gone for a good spot here to build. I think that's a very, very good spot. Let's have a look from his perspective. So he's seen there's some stone there. To be fair, he's got lucky with the metal because he didn't know that was there. But he's actually got a great spot because he's got metal, stone, metal. That's a brilliant spot to get. In fact, a lot of the materials are around by him. And then in the blue, we have Riccio, so he hasn't seen much around. He's noticed some metal over here. And his thoughts are, presumably, let's go for the berries. So berries are very important if you want to go and get moving quickly. So there is a ceasefire, 7 minutes. I'm over here. So basically, I did walk around for a little bit, and I noticed, oh, metal, stone, lovely. More metal, although one of those metals is theoretically shared there. So it's going to be a case of one of us or both is going to try and dominate that metal. So it's probably not even going to come into play. And my teammate has gone here. Now, at this point, let's have a look at what we could both see of the map. Because we've got allied view, we could both see the same. I was a bit annoyed that he tried to do that because both of us are slinger civs. So I did say, don't go there. Try and look up in the north. I'm sure there's more stone there because we can't really share the stone. And what this is called in the trade is cannibalizing. So once you kind of stake your claim to your area, these are then kind of your resources. And all he's done here, it's in theory, luckily he doesn't because there was some stone to the north, so he doesn't actually take it, but is that he's cannibalized my stone, i.e. we haven't got extra stone, we've now got half the stone that I thought I had because he's going to take half of it. But however, there's the benefit is he's playing the Britons, I believe it is, yeah, which means he doesn't need stone to make barracks, and that therefore means that he can build barracks to get out to this stone, whereas I do need stone to build barracks. Do they need stone to build barracks? I think they might do. Yes, they do. And the Macedonians absolutely need stone to build barracks. So that's it. Although, what's that? Sorry, just for a second, I thought I'd seen some kind of thing. Now, in team games as well, the other thing to bear in mind is that if you are playing Nomad, ordinarily, by default, you want one of your team to be playing as the Seleucids, and that's because they get you, I think, 20% off the cost of civic centres, which means that as you start with 500 of everything, because you invariably use, medium starting resources so you can build a civic centre, that means that you're only using 400 of them. So you start with 100 wood, 100 stone, and 100 metal, which means you're in a great position. So instantly you can see my first thought is, well, it's actually to build a house because I need a house, but I am going to attempt to make this stone here effectively useless. I'm going to take it out of or take his opportunity to do something with it away. I want that to be taken out. And from their perspective, he doesn't even know about this other metal. I kind of assumed he wouldn't, but you can see the map's been divided pretty much in half, and we're both of us not really aware of the fact that we are on just this thin sliver of land, so there's not that much space to get away. I did notice this metal, but it's so kind of far removed. Same with this one. They're so remote. I don't think we've got really much use for them. But I've sort of gone through the base. You can see now what I'm trying to do. This is another trick that I like to use, because one of the things early on is someone, invariably you end up on the front lines. People are going to put stones if you're pretty much sharing a border. Put stones? What am I talking about? Put towers. And so what you can do to stop the enemy from finding it easy to get to your towers and try and take them over, which does happen. They People will build up as many soldiers as they can, say throw, say 20 or 30 soldiers. Then if you're there thinking, I've got a tower, I'm pretty safe, and it's full of like 3 soldiers, if you haven't built an army, you could be in big trouble. They can capture it. Then if they manage to phase up and turn it into a full tower, so they use this upgrade thing to get that into a defense tower, you're screwed. Basically, you've then got a tower in your own territory that your opponent has. So what I'm doing at the moment is actually chopping down the trees which are currently stopping me from building my houses around there, because I'm using them to build a wall effectively. What I want is to have a wall of houses which not only give me um, a population bonus, but will mean that in order to capture a tower, he's going to be under attack from that tower for a while, because he has to go the long way round, or he has to try and capture the houses first to destroy them. And both of those things cause some issues. They make it very difficult. So he's not even contesting this at the moment, and I'm making sure it's not going to be able to be taken. Now, as I say, because we've got the 7-minute ceasefire, the other thing that I like to do is to take resources which are likely to come under fire before resources which are safer. So, for instance, these berries are less likely to come under attack than these berries. So I want to have completely taken all of these berries as soon as I can. Having said that, I then went for these berries, which isn't so smart because those are much, much safer. Already moving to that. So if we look, you can see it's quite an even spread of thing. Everyone's doing relatively much the same. I am massively overproducing wood and not producing food. So that's strange. But the good thing, excuse me, is that he's, there you go, built out towards this metal, which to Yixawui. So thank you, because that's very helpful. He did go and take those stone. I mean, there's a lot of stone up here. He doesn't need to take my stone. I think actually there's other. Is there a third thing of stone? Yeah, there you go. Stone, stone, stone. He doesn't need my stone. I don't have any other stone. Even he's got stone in the back. In fact, everyone's got loads of stone apart from me, who just has one thing of stone. Where's the justice in the world? I need the stone. So these guys are getting that. We've now got to the point where we can attack one another. Populations all very similar. Feeling pretty confident there. Let's have a look in the south. We've got a knife. He's transitioning to farms. Still has plenty of wood to get. He's got the upgrade. Let's have a look at the economics upgrades. Everyone apart from Red got the berries, so perhaps he didn't start with the most berries, which is interesting because he's actually, I mean, he's only got one cavalryman collecting that. The rest of it is people on berries, but he hasn't got the best upgrade for that, and he's got more berries around going straight to farming, which is, I think, not the correct choice. You can see he must have attempted to build a tower here, but left it far too late, so my tower took that out. I'm not sure what the value of this defensive wall is at this stage. I mean, it may have a value much later on. I think when there might be cavalry going around or stuff. But what's interesting, the map's, I think, normal size, so it's not medium. It's the second from, so there's small. I mean, obviously there's tiny, then small. This is the third, I suppose, map size. But because so much of it is water, that's made a difference. There's more metal, more stone here, stone and metal. None of us actually taken advantage of the sea, which is interesting. Let's have a look. What do we know of the sea? And that will be why Oh no, there's some there, but that's a long way. But I've kind of walked around here, scouted, and then just thought, well, there isn't any. There's no fish to be taken, and yet, just outside of my view, there were lots of fish, and that would be an incredibly um, useful thing. So as we move on, is uh, nice. So in terms of infantry, I'm way ahead. Riccio is actually probably, yeah, he's furthest behind. Leopard's gone for a very early phase two, but that does mean, as he does have plenty of wood, it means that he can get these materials at the best price, which is is smart. So I've no, is it me? No, I went for the stone gathering one because I don't have any metal yet. I only got a couple of guys on metal, the rest are on stone. Um, and I've just got the one barracks. Is that second one going up? No, it's not. So, picked up all of these berries before they could have anything done to them. But I need some metal now because I want to get both the um, upgrade for whatever you call it for wood cutting, and I also want the upgrade for my farms. In Yuxabu, it's doing well. He's got a lot of farms. How many is that? He's got 8 farms, which puts him so far ahead of everyone else. Leopard and Richo send each other resources, which is very, very good. It's a very sensible play. He's finally got these people on there, and I think they're quite actually a pretty good pairing in terms of the actual the two civilizations that are being used. The the Macedonians have very strong cavalry, although potentially not beyond, but they start with Lancer cavalry, which are really, really handy, thrown in against either farmers or against, oh God, what are they even called? Your skirmishers or archers or whoever. And he's got the range, he's got the archery. So with an archer faction, you have got that fact that you can just mass up archers and they can become quite deadly, particularly if you can get all the upgrades. At the moment, there aren't any. I think, can you get this? He could have got that, actually. Even at phase 1, you can get archery tradition, which gives you extra attack range. That's quite smart. At this early stage, I'll say we're slightly pulling ahead, even though he's at phase 2, which means, has he built that market? He has. Hasn't done any trading yet, I don't think, though, which means there's no, hasn't taken advantage of that. Got more metal out here. It's going to be difficult to try and flank someone. I think seeing the whole map, what I maybe if I had known, how much do I know? Yeah, if I'd seen a bit around here, I think that's where we start to see more resources and yeah, more metal. Might have tried to flank him, put something up over here, but as it is, we're kind of we're in a very much a like kind of straight line. It's going to be a front line is here between the two of us, which makes me versus Riccio the most important. Sorry, Riccio. There's no I after the CH. In fact, that might be Rico as well, because maybe it's a hard CH like in Italian rather than a soft one as in English. Who knows? You don't ever know. That's the thing. So red going to phase 2. I'm just building up the houses. One of the things I like to do is to build the houses into a kind of wall. However, one thing I've noticed from doing that, which one of the side effects is that means that invariably rams, catapults, etc. try and take down that quote-unquote wall, which means it has the added advantage for my opponent of not just taking down the barrier between them and my civic centre, but actually reducing my maximum housing capacity. So my pop cap reduces as they do it. So quite often I've been in games where I think, look at my brilliant wall that's protecting me in the same way that he's put up a fence, only to then see it completely bashed and suddenly my max pop is at like 130 when it should be at 250. Speaking of which, that is the maximum population, 250. So he's got fishing going on, very smart. Fishing is, I think I forget exactly which, yeah, I think it must be among the most efficient. It's either that fishing or it's hunting. I don't know which it is. That's the um, that's the question for everyone. I used to know. I even made a whole video about the most efficient ways to gather food. And I don't let's have a look. Fishing boat. How quickly do you actually? Oh, is there a way to? I was told there's like a way to do this that doesn't stop the game. And that's not it because that has stopped the game. Gather rate 1.8. That doesn't sound that fast compared to a horse. What's your gather rate? 5. No, it's not. They're slower. Fact. Fishermen are slower than cavalry at collecting food, and they have a much longer thing to drop it off. If anyone, the person who told me how you could look at things without the game pausing, let me know again because I clearly don't know. Right, but aren't the graphics on the trees really lovely now? As an aside. So as it stands, I'm phase 2 already. This is something to do. I've gone for the thing. Haven't felt the need. I've got so much metal and stone, so I should be getting all of the I have got all the upgrades. All right, fair enough then. Economy upgrades, and no, I'm purple, so I haven't yet even built a forge, so I don't have any upgrades on that. But you can see how much I love an economy upgrade where every single one, and look at the result of that is that I am full of resources. Building this now, I should be able to go pretty much straight through actually to phase 3. How close are other people to getting to phase 3? I don't know how many have got the correct. He just needs the resources. He's got the buildings, hasn't got the buildings or the resources, and hasn't got the buildings or the resources. So I'm presumably now going straight to phase 3. Go straight to phase 3. Press the button. Click the button. God, I hate watching these back, and then you just realise just how long you didn't click that button for. Click the button. Maddening. I've built all of the things I need. I've got plenty. Oh, I got distracted because I came under attack here. How annoying. It just shows how easily flustered I am. I mean, I'm not sure if that's true of other people. Put it in the comments if that happens to you as well. But I have a clear plan of exactly what I want to do, and it appears to be going fine. And then someone will attack me, and it's enough. I mean, look how long. That's been a minute at least that I've lost before, and I've only now kind of realised. Press the button. Still haven't done it. Jeez, I'm also not training anyone. It's completely thrown me. Finally click the button. Almost a minute and a half was lost, and it takes a minute. I could have been phase 3 already for 30 seconds by now. Imagine what an advantage that would have given me. God, it doesn't bear thinking about. Right, so they're going to start, I believe, going surely very soon. He must be thinking it's time, but he doesn't have the metal, which is... Yeah, he's got the metal upgrades, but hasn't got the stone ones, but has stone. They're really slack, actually, in getting the things I should really... I've been quite a bad teammate, because I could easily have sent Yuxiwu a load of metal there and said, hey, Yuxiwu, get yourself some upgrades, chap. But this is the thing. He was good enough. Oh, this as well. He's had one of those things where... I remember when this was happening, so this kind of fight was going on here. I clicked the button, and it was one of those things where the point at which I clicked the button, and before it registering that was okay, like to click the button, I'd used resource. I didn't have enough resources to do it anymore, but hadn't noticed that the scaffolding hadn't gone up. So I was just like looking at it periodically, forgetting that it would have scaffolding around it if it was actually going through the upgrade process. And instead, Just kept looking at it, going, no, it hasn't upgraded yet. That's weird. Um, and yet it was never going to. Never going to. That's something to bear in mind. So, got the library, which means I can get all of these upgrades. I should be going through these quickly. Yeah, starting at last to get them. I think as well, I also might have thought it was 200 max pop, so didn't make an effort to go beyond that. I mean, you can see how I've certainly stalled massively. So I'm way behind where I should be because I was like absolutely flying ahead at the start. So by about, I don't know, actually I don't know what exactly at all how long it takes to build the thing, but ordinarily, and this does happen to me a lot, I'll be like, after about 7.5 minutes, I'm on like 115, 120 population, and then after about 12 minutes, I look and I'm like, why am I on 150 or 160 population? What happened to that thing? Why have I suddenly stopped producing? And it's because we'd started fighting basically, and or stuff like this. I've just not noticed that my people have decided to wave at a tower. So they're all getting killed. But here we go. This is the beginning of the real thing. So what I wanted to do was before I started taking stuff down, so you notice that my people have come here. That's because there's not quite enough space to build a fortress. I need this tree to be gone. So we're taking that down. But obviously taking down that tower has attracted rather a lot of things. And this is where the cavalry we were talking about earlier, the difficulty that brings. So I've got more upgrades, but they're the pierce armor and pierce rather than hack. These guys are just wandering into nothing. And this is now, I wanted to have that fortress up, but this tree, and it's another thing that doesn't really happen or isn't such an issue, except it comes up except in Nomad, it really happens, like it really matters a lot here. So because you don't start with this kind of beautifully curated starting point where you've got a stone and a metal very nearby and everything's all very nice, you end up with little things like that where I can't build a fortress because of this single tree. And stuff like that. So you get a lot of those sort of things. Like this tree, which has got 4 left, is causing me problems because I can't build here, and I would like to put something up to protect my siege workshop. Just can't do it. Also, don't have a lot. I finally started building a fortress, and yeah, this is also. And again, I hadn't really built sufficient barracks. I've got 5, but 2 of them aren't built. So I've got 3, and of those, if I look at my 5, none of them are producing. Look at all of these things. And this is when I sort of start to think like, oh my God, what on earth? No wonder I've got no population. What will have happened is at some point I had the auto train on, one of the resources was too low, couldn't train anymore for a little bit, and didn't then set it up again. And it takes me many, many minutes to notice that. So what's he building here? Got a fortress going up on the front line. I've got my own fortress here, and finally I can set a fortress there, albeit these 71 bits of tree aren't causing a problem. So maybe it turned out I could have done that there after all. I wanted to be as close as possible to here. These coming through are a nightmare. They can easily capture that. There's sufficient of them, and I'm just trying to build this still. I'm lucky that Yuxawu is actually helping me out here. Yuxawu. They're going to capture this soon. Yeah. So this is full, so I really thought that this being full and people being there would be enough to cause them problems, but this is taking too long to go up. They're pulling back. So Yuxabu saving the day. Come on, build this. Over here, they're trying to capture that. Are they going to? I've got all the major upgrades there. If they got so close. Thought they were going to take it, and then they gave up. This one can't quite defend it. So we've now got the 3 catapults to build another fortress around here. So weirdly didn't take out the catapults having done that. So let's just have a look. We've got another collection of them going here, and this is a prime example of what I was talking about earlier. Oh, no, that was actually a barracks being taken out, not I thought it was some houses. Waving at this one, but these will surely be killed by the towers very shortly. But the issue is going to be here in this front line. I can hear catapults. I think they're mine. What are they aiming at? What are they aiming at? I've no idea. So in terms of military upgrades, Yuxuru's the furthest behind, but he's actually done a good job. He's taken the thing. I mean, we had quite a lot of conversation going at this point about me sending my melee troops to the front so that to protect. So I've just got people in here. What I wanted to do was to get more cavalry. There they are. So I wanted to get cavalry because then that would give me archers as well. I think I even got the archer upgrade. No, I haven't got it yet. That doesn't mean I don't get it later, in fairness. Right, come on. Let's do this. Right, now there's the 2 of us together, and he pulls back his soldiers to go behind mine, who are better armoured. And as pikemen, actually, they're just much better armoured, full stop. Right. But this is the key thing. Now starting to get some archers in there and destroy that. That's gone. Right. Just noticed out there. I'll look at if this starts to die down in a second. So I've got my guys. They were wandering over to attack these archers, but I need them to go into the main bit over here. Don't know if you saw that. Yeah. So we're pulling back. We're just trying to finish them off. I mean, Yuxuru absolutely nailing it. It's Leopard that's losing the most people. I'm very much Richo, and me are very similar, and it's Leopard who's come in strong. Just to say as well, I've just noticed the ratings. It looks like you've got the 2 strongest players versus the 2 weakest. When I did ask for balance at the start and was told Leopard is massively underrated and thus is actually closer to 1500, while Yuxuru is massively overrated and is closer to 1300, so it seemed fairer that way. But I don't know if that's being borne out now. So they're fleeing while my swordsmen try to do that. But again, is that my soldiers in there? Yeah, I've still got a load of soldiers in there doing nothing. I don't have any metal, which means I think I've just run out of the stuff I was getting over there. And this is still contested. I mean, as I said at the start, when you have these resources that are on either side's doorsteps, you end up with resources that are so contested that they just sit there, they never get taken. So we really need to find more metal. Yuxuru has plenty, but he's not sharing at this point, although in fairness I didn't ask him either. There you go, and my swordsmen are getting killed to death. But over here, Rika, oh my god, he's down to 40 odd pop. He is in real trouble. Now, it's going to be very, very difficult for him to come back from here. 41. Both. I've got plenty. No, I've got plenty of swordsmen. I've got some swordsmen here, but they don't appear to be doing a lot. There's 4 rams in there. Rico is gone. Okay. And once you get into that position, it's going to be very, very hard. He's also Yuxuru is on a serious assault. What do we have here? These all. He's got 4 rams that have been now ejected from this fortress, and on we march. Going to march on Moscow. Come on. This is going to be very difficult. The only thing is those rams. Here they come. Those rams are now quite. This can be very difficult to stop them. All my archers, sorry, all my swordsmen are there. We're fighting here while at the same time over here. Ah, there's my swordsmen, all 3 of them, desperately chasing these rams. One of the things that I've learned when you're against rams is that, like, when you've got them, it's the most annoying thing. When you're against them, it's a godsend. Is the Pathfinder is terrible. So you kind of just create a line, and because the rams can't attack people, they just have to go round, which means they never actually find a way around. Trying to take, and then I mess that up because they start following. But you see, this ram can't actually get anywhere. These are don't stop. They've stopped attacking. Oh dear. Okay. Unfortunately, I think the swordsmen are there now, and the swordsmen will actually take it out relatively quickly, so we're spared. But the women don't naturally just take out the second one, so that's dealt with. That's pretty much the only threat that I had. He's got a siege tower. He's lost control of this. I've still got most of my army here fighting. He's down to 108 pop. And I think it will be little surprise to know the game is pretty much done at this point. So it's not exactly much of me, of a spoiler to say that Leopard doesn't come back from this to win. So yeah, he takes a little while. I'm just actually going to fast forward through the last little bit because he does take a little while of being implored by everyone, including me. And I don't want this video to be so long when the last few minutes are just you doing nothing. Like, can you just resign so we can finish the game? But he doesn't. He starts to build a fortress here. I think that's actually a reaction to me just saying, don't make the game stupidly long so it makes a bad video. So out of pure spite, he's like, aha, I'll build a fortress. That will make it so the game lasts a lot longer. Well, joke's on you, Leopard, because I just used a double speed thing. So what do you think of that? And then he does actually resign in a second anyway. Because his population, he's got nothing left, he's got no resources, he can't really do anything. What's going on? Has he seen the rams coming, realizing there's nothing he can do to stop that? Oh, and this will be all of his population getting killed. Here they go, 64, 30 odd. If he keeps the ram alive. Oh, there's another ram, that's it. He's got 20 odd pop. Game over, done. So that was the game. It's a good fun game to play actually, and I think it does get to show you how fun it can be. Nomad, I think it's a really interesting play style, and as I said, because you have to, part of the skill is picking the right spot and also working out how you can use the terrain to your advantage. Like, have you managed to stop? You've got that sort of 7 minutes to try and work out what's going on in the map as well. You can make sure that people can't have access to certain resources, or you can make sure that anything that they desperately need is contested by building towers around it and things. So you can do that. So as you can see, Yuxuru won basically. He killed it. Let's go and have a look at the things. In terms of units, he trained along with Leopard the most, but lost a fraction of what Leopard lost. Um, his was kill death ratio. I got 1.43. He got almost 3. Wow. Very, very good play. Yuxuru, very, very good. Well done. Well done, Yuxuru. And well played, Richo, and Leopard. I really did enjoy that. Did anyone trade at all? Just yeah, a little bit. Some people sold a little bit of wood, stone, and metal. Leopard was the most prolific trader. Um, Rico, and I did nothing. Intensive resources. Yeah, you can see Leopard and Yuxbu were the best in that sense. And look, there we go. What colour was I? I was purple, wasn't I? Pink. So there was a point towards the end where I overtook Leopard, but really, and it was me and Leopard at the start, and then Yuxu just suddenly smashed through the total score. Economy score, those two were way out in front. Give me the military score. Yeah, Yuxu and me were pretty much always ahead, and then that was the point he lost. Weirdly, he was actually quite close to done. But there you go. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. As usual, do like, subscribe, all those kinds of cool things. They really help me out. And there'll be another video next week, assuming I can get it done before we fly to a family wedding in Porto, which will be really nice. So if there's not one next week, then you'll know that I didn't manage to get it done in time before we flew out, and we don't come back until the bank holiday Monday. So sorry about that. So in a very real sense, in that sense, this might be actually talking in not just in the game world, but also the real world. Obrigado e adeus.